Hey guys, welcome back to another movie review, and today we're gonna talk about Shazam! Exclamation mark. So Shazam! Exclamation mark is directed by David F. Sandberg, who did Lights Out and Annabelle Creation, two horror movies that I really enjoy. And I feel like DC should do this more often. You know, bringing indie movie directors more often than not horror to direct a big budget movie because like 90% of the time it turns out really well. A lot of people are saying that Shazam! Exclamation mark is, bringing new life to the DC universe, is saving the movie, is saving the DC universe. And to some degree I agree. To a certain extent, I think they are making a really good point. But for me, because I've been a fan of the worlds of DC. I love Man of Steel. I really enjoy BVS and Justice League. And Suicide Squad is like a stupid, dumb, fun movie for me. So, sure, there's been some ups and downs, and I would argue that most of them are ups. And DC will experience a lot more ups if they make more films like Shazam's, because my God, this movie is awesome. And it is awesome for the reason I did not expect. Like, I went in thinking, oh, this movie is just gonna be really fun. It's just gonna be a really fun time. I'm just gonna laugh at the jokes and be at alls at the big special effects and the big fight scene and whatnot. Reference to the comics and to movies and to other DC movies. I was really surprised by the amount of heart that this movie actually has. At a certain point in the movie, I think at the end of the second act, I actually teared up. And that, like when I watched the trailer, and you tell me like, oh, you're gonna cry watching this movie, I'm gonna punch you in the throat and call you a liar, because the trailer portrayed this movie as this like super fun, basically Tom Hanks is big with superpower. But the backstory that I gave Billy Batson in this film, it's so beautifully written and so heartwarming. Like it is a story that a lot of kids, especially a adopted kid, will be able to relate to, and they portray the adopted kid and the adopted family in such a positive light. Like this word family that we keep throwing around, like family this, family that. Family is not necessarily blood. Family is the people that you surround yourself with, and the people who actually care for you. And I thought that message was so beautifully translated onto the screen. Usually, like when you're adopted, or the stepmother or the step parents and whatnot, they are evil, and being adopted is like it is somehow, you are somehow less than if you're adopted. You see where I'm going with this? Like, there's a lot of jokes on the internet, like like memes you make of kid being adopted, like the parents telling the kid like, oh, you're adopted, and the kid start crying, start throwing a tantrum and whatnot. Being adopted is not really that bad. I mean, I'm not adopted, so I can't really speak on it, but I have a lot of friends who are adopted, and their lives, they're like, it's good. Like being adopted is not like a negative. You can't just like telling people, oh, you should adopt a kid, and then in your movies portray adoption as like a negative, or as somehow less than the biological kid. Like being adopted is cool, man. Like it's chill. There is another message that I really love, and it kind of reminded me of the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 a little bit. And that is, sometimes the things that you are looking for, the things that you wish for, just right there. It's right there in front of you, and you just don't see it because you're just so like, oh, I gotta get this, I gotta get that, but sometimes the things that you need, it just is right there in front of you. That really got to me. Like that really got to me, and I was so, taken back by just how much this movie like got to me emotionally. But that being said, this movie is also hella fun. You have probably heard this, all over the internet by now, but Zachary Levi, he is the perfect Shazam. or Captain Marvel, whatever you're calling him, but he is the perfect Shazam in this film. He like the whole time I was just seeing like an adult version of Billy Batson, you know? Like he is, deep down inside he is that kid, you know? Not like the wisdom of Solomon, like that's fucking bullshit, you know? Like it's just a 15 years old kid in that superhero body. And the way he acts, just the charm and the sense of humor and just all the stuff that he does in the film, it's so authentic. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, yes, he looks like super buff, Zachary Levi, but the way he talks and the way he, behave is a 15 years old kid. Let's talk about Asher Angel for a second, because if this kid does not work, if Billy Batson does not work, Shazam's not gonna work. So as a director, you have to like get this character, this Billy Batson character, really right, and that's exactly what David F. Sandberg did. The direction for because there's just a lot of scenes where like the transformation is just like it's quick, so as a director you have to be really careful with with the actings and with the dialogues and with the line delivery of the actors to make sure that they feels like the same person even though there's two actors. And I thought that he did a phenomenal job. I thought they did a phenomenal job with this character, because Billy Batson is just so relatable. And the things that I love most about this character is that he's kind of a dick at times. Like, because the wizard Shazam, like he's looking for this like kind-hearted, this pure-hearted person. But I just don't feel like Billy Batson is that kid, and it's kind of a good thing, because the story is not about being perfect. The story is about learning from your mistake, learning from your flaws. Like he's doing all these crazy things, like running away from the previous adopted families, messing with cops, beat up bullies and then ran away from them. He does all these crazy things, but like he has a reason. He has a really relatable reason for doing that. He's adopted a little brother who is played by what's his name? Jack Dylan Grazer, who was also in the movie It. He was excellent in It, and he was even better in here, because this character could easily come up. Freddie Freeman, who could have easily comes off as just like a comic relief, just a really annoying sidekick type comic relief, but he was there and he was totally doing his thing. He was there to be like the moral compass for Billy Batson, because at a certain point Billy Batson, he was really abusing of the power that he got, and having Freddie there to like set him straight, to tell him like, okay, this some bullshit you're doing, it's not gonna work, so you gotta change. And I just really love the interaction between the two. Like these two, the chemistry between them is what's holding the movie together for me. The rest of the siblings though, like I thought they were fine. Some of them better than the other. They didn't really have like a big role to play. They didn't really have enough screen time for me to like really care about them. There was this college subplot. I'm just gonna call it a college subplot that kind of went nowhere. I just didn't really care about them the way that I care about Freddy and Billy. And also I was a bit disappointed with the villain, because they did give him a really good backstory, if I'm being completely honest. Like, he is the villain who, when he started doing all his super villain shit, you understand. That being said, I feel like when you got to a certain point, like the midpoint of the movie, they sort of shift the focus like almost entirely to the hero. Like, listen, I totally understand why they did it, but at the same time, the villain character, Dr. Savannah, played brilliantly by Mark Strong, kind of suffer a little bit. There's a lot of, sceneries and, cinematography that you would normally see in a horror flick in Shazam. exclamation mark. There are certain scenes where I could use a bit more lighting, like certain scenes were just lit a bit too dark. Like, I could see why it would work in a horror movie, but there are just certain things that didn't really translate well into the superhero genre from the horror genre. But there are some cool stuff. There are some really, really cool stuff that did work. And when it did work, I like it. And I could tell that David F. Sandberg, he is not like super experienced with special effects and CGI and all that. There are some really gorgeous shots, don't get me wrong, but there are also some kind of iffy, special effect shot that could use a little bit more polishing, but like nothing like too major, nothing to like make me go like, oh, that just ruined the movie for me, like nothing like that. But let me just say that some are a bit more noticeable than others. In the end, guys, Shazam is an excellent installment in the worlds of DC. If Warner Brothers and DC keep making movies like Shazam's, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be just fine. I love the characters. I love Billy Batson. I love Shazam. I love Freddie Freeman, and I love the family dynamic. The story will make you laugh, will make you cry. I saw a lot of people comparing this movie to like the Richard Donner Superman film, and I could see that. I think the comparison is fair. Just the feel, like just the tone and the feel of the movie reminded me somewhat of the Superman, like Superman 1 and Superman 2, which is a good thing. I think that's a good thing, and that is definitely something that DC should be moving forward with. Shazam exclamation mark is one of my favorite DC films today, and I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It has 2 post-end credit scenes, so stay till the very end for those. Hey guys, I know I'm running a bit behind on reviews and reaction. Trust me, I'm working really, really hard to get them out as soon as possible for you guys. I'm just having a lot of stuff going on. It is April, all these exams, midterms, homeworks, all that, so just bear with me. If, a video it's late, know that I'm working on them. The Pet Cemetery review, I am working on it. The review for Marvel Runaways, I just finished it like last week. I am working on the review for the season 2 of Runaways. Reaction for many movie trailers. And also, if you get a chance to see Shazam exclamation mark, let me know in the comment section how you feel about it. If you like it, if you're not liking it, if you enjoy my review, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more reviews like this. And with that being said, I'll see you soon. Shazam!